Hello. My presentation examines how Moroccan masters and PhD students use generative AI and how this use relates to authorship, agency, and legitimacy in academic writing. It is titled Beyond Usefulness, Critical Digital Literacy and Generative AI in EFL graduate programs. It is important to understand that AI now produces writing that can beat high-stakes tests, and many EFL programs still approach it as cheating. Uh, that frame misses how students negotiate authorship, identity, and agency in real classrooms. This begs the question how students engage with AI and what that means for legitimacy in academic writing. Moroccan graduate students allow us to study this in a multilingual, policy-ambiguous setting. Most studies emphasize utility or policing and mainly focus on undergraduate students in EFL classrooms. This study, on the contrary, attempts to examine graduate students and test links between technical skills, acceptance, and critical awareness. This is a cross-sectional quantitative survey, meaning that we captured a snapshot at a single point in time. We surveyed 448 Moroccan masters and PhD students between January and March of 2025. The instruments included NG's Digital Literacy Scale, TAM3, which is the Technology Acceptance Model 3, a Critical Digital Literacy Scale, and custom items on academic integrity. All scales showed solid internal reliability, with Cranbach's alpha values between 0.81 and 0.83, which is generally considered solid and strong. This gives confidence that the constructs are measured consistently. Analyses include descriptive statistics, correlations, and independent sample t-test. The sample spans early and mature graduate students. Average age is just over 30 years old, with clusters at 26 and 44 years. As far as gender balance is concerned, it is close to even, which supports comparisons later on in the study. Both stages of graduate study are represented. That lets us test level differences. For example, master's students represent 62.5% of participants, whereas PhD students represent 37.5% of total participants. When it comes to AI use frequency, we can notice from these graphs and from the descriptive results of the study that use is rather routine. Most students engage with AI on a daily basis, and a further third on a weekly basis. For example, daily use of AI by participants is 62.5%, whereas participants who use AI on a weekly basis represent 30.4%. Messages from faculty are rather mixed. Many professors and faculty staff, for example, discourage AI use. However, a minority encourage it. A large group report silence. In other words, they don't have an opinion when it comes to AI use in academic writing and production. This ambiguity shapes student practices. Correlation tests were run on participants and their data. This has produced varied results. For example, digital literacy correlates with both critical awareness and acceptance, and those two also correlate with each other, as seen in the graph. These links are moderate. Technical skill and perceived usefulness do not automatically yield critical stance when it comes to AI use. This figure distinguishes between two kinds of use. First, frequency. Students who say they use AI daily tend to show lower critical awareness and lower acceptance. This suggests that habitual routine use can normalize AI and reduce reflection. Second, hours. Students who report spending more hours per week with AI show higher critical awareness. So, quick daily reliance is not the same as deeper engagement. The data imply that it is not simply use that matters, but the quality and the intensity of that use. This slide compares male and female students. Digital literacy, the technical skill of using AI tools, is almost identical across gender. But on critical awareness, women score significantly higher, with a very large difference. They also show higher acceptance of AI tools. This suggests that gender does not shape technical ability, but it does shape stance. Female students appear more likely to question AI critically, while also being more open to adopting it. On the other hand, male students may approach AI more functionally, without the same level of reflection. In other words, you could think of it as two students with the same technical skills. The female student is more likely to ask, "What is this tool doing to my writing? Whose interest does it serve?" The male students, on the other hand, may use it competently but ask fewer critical questions. This slide compares master's and PhD students. Master's students rate themselves as more digitally literate, meaning they feel more confident with the technical aspects of AI. By contrast, doctoral students score higher on critical awareness and also on acceptance of AI. This shows that as students progress academically, they may become more reflective about AI's implications, but not necessarily more confident in technical operations. In other words, academic maturity seems to strengthen reflection rather than technical ease. For example, a master's student may be quick with Grammarly or ChatGPT for surface editing, but a PhD student may be slower technically while asking more probing questions about bias, authorship, and legitimacy as well. One group is fluent in use, the other more attuned to the politics of use. It is important to understand that the findings highlight a split between technical fluency and critical stance. Many students know how to use AI tools, but that does not mean they question them. Routine dependence, for example, the quick daily reliance on AI, seems to dull reflection. By contrast, students who engage for longer periods show more critical awareness, suggesting that time spent interrogating outputs fosters reflection. We also see that gender and academic level stratify how students position themselves. Women are more likely to both question AI and accept its use, whereas men appear more functional and less reflective. Master's students are technically confident, yet doctoral students are more critical and accepting. Together, these results show that AI use is not neutral. It intersects with identity and academic maturity to shape legitimacy in academic writing. This study highlights the need for change in both pedagogy and policy. Teaching must move beyond showing students how to operate tools. Instead, they should be required to interrogate outputs, to ask who produced the text, what assumptions it carries, and how it positions them as authors. Institutions should also reconsider their stance. Blanket bans and ambiguous silence leave students uncertain. Clear, accessible guidance can help frame AI as a resource to be questioned rather than a forbidden shortcut. Training should be sensitive to context. Master students may need help in developing a critical stance, while PhD students may benefit from strengthening technical confidence. Gendered patterns should also be taken seriously, since they shape how students position themselves in relation to AI. It is important to note that these are the results of the first phase of a larger project. In the next phase, I will gather qualitative data and deeper analysis to refine and validate these findings. Further graphs and modeling will be published separately to extend the evidence base. For now, the key message is simple and urgent. In our classrooms, beyond usefulness must be the baseline, not the ambition. AI cannot be left as a functional tool. It must be treated as a site of power, critique, and learner agency. Thank you so much for following this presentation with me. And I would like to also extend my thanks to the committee and to my participants who have put on a lot of work to fill in the questionnaire and to also help me with future interviews. Thank you so much and bless you. Bye.